Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in real time, literally my blanket is still on the floor. I was just sun gazing and I had a moment with creation, with myself, about how I was the thing standing between me and friendships. And it was my lack of validation and self-worth internally that made me think that the relationships in my life weren't of value. And so, what does that mean? Well, when you come from a background, right? Like, if all your life you've been accustomed to attracting lower vibrational situations, people in your life who don't really value you for who you are, toxic relationships, these types of things, oftentimes you find yourself in the position to walk away, right? Usually you're the person who's like, okay, I choose me, I'm leaving. What people don't talk about is that how that perpetuates a cycle. Even internally, mentally, it creates a cycle that says, okay, I will be somewhere where I am not valued or cared about or respected. Therefore, I'm always the person who has to leave. And so that was me. And it was because of I had that belief that I felt that I could never have friends because, well, inevitably, I'm always the one who's attracting bullshit and having to walk away from it. Excuse my language, but that's just how it is. But the truth is, I wasn't attracting valuable relationships. You see, the truth isn't, oh man, I have to keep walking away from good connections. It's instead, I've always outgrown bad ones. And you see, that's the perception of life that we have to take. It's not that, oh my God, something is wrong with me, because I truly believed that. I believed that no matter what connections I would have in my life, I would always go through the weird texting, people responding late because they're trying to reciprocate energy, the heaviness of ego that clouds most connections today that people aren't willing to talk about. I know when people are being fake with me. I know when people are reading my messages, but are purposefully responding to me late. But also, as usual, there's two sides to every coin. What if they're not? You know, right now in my life, I do have genuine connections, but I was trying to put labels of friendship on them when they didn't require that. I was so desperate and holding on to this idea of friendship. Oh my God, this person likes me. Okay, we're friends. No. Why don't I give people permission to earn me? Why don't I, give myself permission to be shown, these genuine connections that are worthy of the word friendship? It's okay to have relationships in your life that require no labels or expectations. That also comes with knowing my own worth. All because a person talks to me does not mean that we're friends. But this is a level of insecurity I had to go within myself that I didn't even know I had. But everything happening in our external world is us. So if I'm witnessing that, wow, okay, I want deeper connections with people, but it's my own expectations that's hurting my own feelings, then that's what the truth is. Nobody is obligated to fill my voids. Nobody is obligated to be something in my life that they're not meant to be. It is okay to accept that people are just there. Everyone does serve a purpose, but yeah, what purpose am I serving within myself if I'm holding on to something that's impossible for others to obtain? No. And so this is such a valuable lesson because, guys, like in real time, like today, 30 minutes ago, I realized that, not everything has to be a problem. People hold space in my life as they're supposed to, but under no circumstances do they owe me anything. And it is my own expectations and perception of myself that was creating the hardship that really doesn't even exist. It was all in my mind. You suffer more with the stories you tell yourself in the mind versus the soul that's begging to look at reality and to accept it for what it is. you know? So it is my job to accept that, yes, while I used to attract toxic situations and relationships where I wasn't of value, I have to accept the work that I've done today. And that to me is one of the most tricky things, right? Like realizing that I'm not who I used to be, yet alone I'm not in the reality that I used to be. So now the relationships that are present, they're not toxic, but they're not my ideal versions of friendship. You know what I mean? And so I'm having this hard time navigating, okay, well, I'm still not fulfilled, yeah, because I'm not accepting this for what it is. Just how I accepted that the crap that I attracted was toxic and I outgrew it and I walked away. Now I have to accept that, wow, now there's genuine connections in my life, but they're not close enough in my heart for me to establish friendship. And that's okay. Period. Done. So guys, with that being said, if you're having a hard time with friendships in your life, well, one, you have to be willing to walk away from the ones that genuinely don't serve you. And two, once new connections do start coming into your life, don't have expectations of them, but rather accept them for what they are. You know, it's kind of making me a little emotional because how beautiful is that? How beautiful that new things are in my life and they're coming to your life, I promise. And that my only responsibility is to accept that, yeah, while they may not be my ideal versions of deep connections and presence and that phone call to check in on how I'm doing, and I still get the texts of how I'm doing. No, they don't respond right away, but it's not of malice this time. It's because they're busy. It's two different pillars of connection. You know, there's no way to compare what I have now to what I used to have, and that's good enough. My life right now is living proof that I've done the work. And it doesn't look perfect, but it looks different, and that's all right with me. That's all right with me. You know, I thought once I had the attention, the growth on social media, the new life, there would be this entitlement that I got and received everything that I deserve. But instead, why don't I enjoy this journey? Why can't I enjoy that I'm on level 2 and not be mad that I'm not on level 5? The people are coming. The blessings are coming. I must allow the becoming. And maybe that's the same for you. You know, I had a dream where I was expressing with someone important in my life this hardship. I had a dream about it last night and I was bawling. And the person just stood there and listened. Because that's all that was needed at the time. I wanted to feel bad for myself. I wanted to perpetuate the same story over and over again that maybe, just maybe, I was too special, too different, too unique. But no, I was too entitled and didn't give myself permission to enjoy what I have today. So maybe look around in your life and analyze, what aren't you really appreciating that's already there? You know, I have my sister. I have 2 sisters, but there's one that I'm really close with. You know, there's a time when I was throwing up in the bathroom, or at least trying to, but nothing would come out, you know. Just such a moment of sickness and illness, and, you know, I thought I was so dirty and gross. She was right there, hand on my back. You know, another person, this person that I had a dream about last night, this person told me that she's always with me. And it's true. When I dream about her, when we're together, I mean, it's pure creation. It's God. It's purity. So who am I to discredit these connections because they don't look how I expect them to look? Because it's my sister, or it's because this friend is a 40-year-old woman who I'm not talking with on the phone every day, but she's busy. She has a real life. Like, it's just, this is a true process, guys. And I have no shame in showing it because these are the depths of ourselves that we have to go to. I was not being grateful. I wasn't, because I was too focused more on becoming the victim. Life is not supposed to look how you expect it to look. The true journey to remembering who you are is looking at reality for what it is and accepting it, no matter if it looks how you thought it would. And guys, if you want to learn more about this, I'm actually writing a book, How to Face Yourself in Honesty, which tells all the truths about Earth and how that's in correlation to how you facing yourself in honesty is what's saving the world. It's a beautiful piece, guys, and I'm so excited to share it. But y'all, with that being said, I'm hungry and I'm exhausted from my afternoon. So I'm going to leave this here. You guys know I never go overboard. I always give exactly enough. And I think this is enough. If you're more curious about my book, feel free to stay tuned by joining my newsletter down below. And otherwise, I love you so much. This journey isn't about anything linear, but all things colorful, with no labels, no expectations, and no pressure on yourself. Be gentle, guys. Until the next episode, thank you so much for listening to this one. I love you, and ciao for now. Bye.